everyone. So today I have the honor of speaking to Dolly Phalane. I said it properly?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a challenge when it comes to people's surnames. I have Dolly Phalane, who is a sister in Christ first and foremost, and a daughter born in Tzaneen, Limpopo. And she has a beautiful story to share with us. And Dolly, I don't believe in meeting people by coincidence. Buying the same dress is a coincidence. But meeting people, especially people of great impact, God has a hand in that. And I thank God that God used our dear friend Dee to facilitate this meeting. And now we're sitting here together.
Thank you.
So welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Bulelwa. You said I'm Dolly Phalane. I also like to mention my first name, by the way, Mampsane. Yes.
I did, but I was challenged.
Okay. So I was born and raised in Limpopo, in a town called Tzaneen, many years ago.
Okay.
Yes, I was raised by my grandparents, both my grandfather and my grandmother. And my mother back then was still studying. She was at college, yeah. So she left my sister and I with our grandparents. So they raised me. And I'm a child of God, like you have said. Yes. I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a mentee, and I'm also a mentor.
Yes.
Yes. So in brief, that's Dolly. That's Dolly.
Dolly is also, and there's a reason why I'm mentioning the titles now. Dolly is also a business leader, a philanthropist, and also a founder of a foundation for girls called Girls Are Powerful. So, like I said, you will soon find out why I'm mentioning these things. And briefly, Dolly, as I observe your story, in your life, you have followed, like I said earlier, you have followed the scripture in Joshua 1 verse 9 where God said, be courageous, be strong and courageous, and do not be dismayed or terrified. What I pick up from your story is a story of courage. You were not scared of anything, and the odds that might have presented themselves against you, you did not see those as a barrier, but you fought through and you pushed through. So please share with us just a bit about your background before we get now into the details.
Okay. My background is one of a small child who grew up in a village, who went to a village school and still made it. Because you can imagine there's a lot of stigma, especially when you start to come into corporate about your twang, how you speak your English and all these things. But guess what? The God that we serve, He's greater, and if He wants to take you somewhere, He will take you despite of. Yes, and in spite of, and no matter what. So for me, I think growing up in such an environment and today seeing myself being here, I can only say is the grace of God.
Amen.
Yes.
And I like what you just said, that God will use you despite your background. I now remember Moses, when God chose Moses now to lead the children of God. Moses had a lot of excuses. No, I'm a starter. I think he was a starter. But God continued to say, I have chosen you. So therefore, you shall go forward and conquer.
Absolutely.
And you did conquer.
Yes.
And look at you, child of God.
Yes.
And one of the most inspiring things that stand out for me now about your story is the story of perseverance. Like I said, you grew up in a village. And today you are in one of the big corporates. You know, that can only be God.
Absolutely.
That can only be God.
Yes.
Now tell me, because there's a lot of resilience also that I pick up from your story. Where do you get your resilient spirit from?
Like I said, my grandmother and my mother were really a great influence of the product that I am today, because my grandmother is that woman who's deliberate about her teachings, and I have to say that she was consistent as well. So if there was something that was really important, she will keep teaching us these things about discipline, knowing yourself, and not doubting yourself, these kind of things.
Which are
Yes,
very important.
absolutely. And my mother was someone who was always passionate about things like education and being independent, because she was a single mother, but you know what, she made it. So she would always encourage us to be independent and all these things. So I would say that just seeing them and growing in front of them was really one of the things that I saw them, and I'm like, you know what, if they can do this, so can I. Yes, if they can be so powerful, this consistent, disciplined, so can I. So this is where I really got the strength and the resilience from.
Young as you were.
Yeah, yes,
so
yes,
inspiring.
yes.
Oh my word.
Yeah, actually there are so many things that I think I had to learn at a young age, because the other thing is I passed matric when I was 15.
What?
Yes, so by the age of 16 I found myself at tertiary.
What?
Yes, so such things, I had to force myself to grow quicker. Yes, and my mother, I remember when I first packed my bags to come to varsity, she wasn't sure.
I wouldn't be sure too.
She wasn't sure, like, if I'm gonna survive. You know, she kept a big bag, and she couldn't stop talking, like, okay, don't talk to boys, don't, because I think she thought of things like, okay, teenage pregnancy and all this other stuff, but we're still going to talk about it. I think the story of knowing God from a very young age, that's really what happened, what really helped me to be disciplined and not even engage in other things that I could have easily engaged in, since my parents were very far away from me, 500 kilometers away. I was in Pretoria. Yes, in Pretoria. Yes, yes, yes. And first time being in Gauteng.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Yes.
So you mentioned God just now. It was going to be my next question to you now. How did you get to know God, and at what age?
So I cannot even put a number behind.
And who introduced you to God?
I cannot put a number behind because I cannot even remember a time where I was not a child of God.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
so you grew up in a family.
Yeah, I was born in it.
In a family of God-fearing people.
Yes, yes. So when I was very small, my grandmother used to go to United Reformed, so we'd just follow her. Oh, actually, no, it was mandatory that we all go. So we'll all go.
We're not given an option.
Yes, there was. Yes, exactly. So we started going to church with her. Then my aunt, my mother's younger sister, she started going to another church, the Church of Nazarene, and I started following her. It was just me. I just started following her, and I love Sunday school at that church. Yes, yeah. Okay. So Sunday school is very important.
Yes.
Yes. I love the Sunday school, how they were teaching us to read the Bible, and I had my little Bible. When I get home, I'll start reading the scriptures by myself. But obviously, I didn't understand everything that was happening. But whenever there's drama and some other stuff, I'll be that one who raises her hand like, can I do my verse? Can I do the verses?
That.
Yes, and I was so good in cramming the verses.
Oh, wow.
So yes, so I was always in front, participating, putting myself out there. Yes. So well, as I was growing up, I think at around 11 years, then I went for baptism, because that's when I started to really understand what was happening. And a lot of things was already like a practice for me. So there was nothing new that I had to change when I finally understood what it meant to raise your hand and say, Jesus, I accept you as my personal savior. So I did go through that around the age of 11. I was already at high school, and then I understood what it meant. So I would say round about that age, that's when the deeper understanding of who God is, the power of God and what He's capable of doing, or He's mighty and everything, that's when I really started to understand everything. Yeah.
Wow. And obviously now being in Gauteng, it was not how can I put it? It was not a train smash for you to maintain your relationship with God, because you come from a home where discipline is, like you said, mandatory. So you didn't come here and have other ideas, and well, also peer pressure
Absolutely.
Doesn't sound like you were affected by that.
No, actually, the other thing is I didn't date when,
Yeah.
when I was at varsity.
You were kept pure by the Lord.
Yes. I had a goal.
Yeah.
And for me, it was to get a degree, nothing else. So anything else was a distraction.
You knew why you came to Gauteng?
Yes.
You didn't come here for boys and parties.
Everything was a
degree.
distraction. My main goal was I'm gonna get that damn engineering degree and get out of this place and change everything and change my life, change my family's life and everything. It was really about that.
Wow.
Yes. So
I'm actually blown away. I don't think I've met a person who has been so disciplined. I mean, we as people, peer pressure is usually too powerful and then you fall into those cracks. But now, like you said, you grew up with a grandmother though. And a lot of people that have grown up with grandmothers have the same qualities as you. There must be something about grandmothers that
there is something special about them.
I did not have the privilege of being raised by a grandmother while I was raised by my parents. But I'm just trying to highlight the fact that even now with those that are still under the care of their grandmothers, they listen.
Yeah.
Listen, there's wisdom in those with those grandmothers. Now I wrote here that discipline is staying focused on the goal, and that's exactly what I pick up from your story. And I admire, like I said, people with who have such a rich background as you and have persevered throughout their journeys. It's what separates the movers and shakers from the wishful thinkers. And you are not a wishful thinker at all.
Wow. This is still the best moment of my life actually. It was really an incredible recognition. So I was a recipient of Hillary Clinton's Tech Woman Emerging Leader Award.
Oh, wow.
This was in 2014. So basically Tech Woman is a program that was inaugurated by Hillary Clinton back in 2011. Yes, so they're looking for women who are in science, technology, engineering and math, who are making waves or really building their communities and mentoring young girls in the area of STEM.
Okay.
Yes, so I was one of those, and I was blown away actually when I was told that I'm gonna be one of the 5 participants from South Africa.
5?
Yes, and there were thousands and thousands of applicants. Yes, interviews were intense, and I made it. I mean, when I first yes. So when I first saw the flyer advertising this, I was like, they are looking for me. Like they're talking about me. Yeah, this is me. I applied the same night. There were many questions to answer, but I went home after work. I was doing MBA at the same time. So I went home and I put some time aside and I went through the questions. I answered them as honest as I can because I wanted to be one of the first applicants. You know, I always want to be first, not number last. Yeah. Yes. So and I went through everything and I made it. There were even interviews that we had to do via Skype with different people. Yes. And I think the key thing that also helped me is because I was also serving as an executive with the South African Women in Engineering. Yes, I was an executive member, and my role was more on the provincial mentorship coordination. Yes, so I chose to be a coordinator for Limpopo because I wanted to give back to people who are like me, same background, same language, you know, a whole lot of similarities. And I remember during this time, I used to drive almost every second month. We'll go to different villages in Limpopo or schools. I was working, I was traveling a lot to Europe. I was studying MBA at the same time. Then I would go to those villages and we'll spend the whole days, mostly Saturdays, with girls from very poor backgrounds who were aspiring to be engineers. Then we'll spend the day, they'll be asking us questions. How did you become an engineer? But you don't look like one. To them, like an engineer must look dirty with boots, overalls.
And helmets.
Yes, and all these things, yeah. And we're like, no, there are engineers who look like us. Then they start to ask, like, what are the different engineering courses that are available, what is required for you to study. And you think it's a simple thing, but guess what? You know what? There are so many kids who are really not so privileged to even get such information. So it was so powerful. And that's where my love actually for mentorship began. Yes.
So is that where now you saw, you also, I suppose you found that you saw a gap, that there should be a foundation where young girls are looked after.
Absolutely.
Is that how it came about? But before we go there, STEM stands for science, technology,
engineering and math.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So like actually when we were in part of the award, the Hillary Clinton Award, we had to go spend some time in the US. Then we started at Silicon Valley in San Francisco, and my friend there was there. I remember they had a farewell party for me.
Oh my word!
Yes,
you don't
in my house. Yeah, so they came and they had a farewell party. I remember the night when I was gonna go. It was gonna be my first time going to the US, because back then I used to travel a lot, and I even lived in Europe before for a year. Yeah, but I've never been to the US. Yeah, I would only connect at the airport. So the excitement level was quite huge. Yeah, but to be honest, I didn't understand how big that moment was until I went through it and it finished. Because when I was there, I met quite a lot of people. I remember I used to sit with the vice president of engineering of Twitter.
What?
Yes, like in the same meeting, so we talk. Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah, because the intention actually of the program is to connect women from Africa with women like who are in leadership in innovation companies in the US. So we spend a lot of time at companies like your Yahoo, Twitter. Yes. Juniper Network. So that was my life, basically. Everything paid. Yes, at work I took sabbatical, so part of my salary was cut, but I didn't care because everything was paid. So then we spent that time. I was based in a company called Sun Edison. It's a solar company. Yes, my mentor was the vice president of business development. Yes, at Sun Edison. So what I was doing projects on solar, and I'll go to meetings with her, see how she carries herself, because the intent is to you need to see yourself as those people, come back to Africa and give back. Yes. So I saw how they do business, the discipline, everything, how she was carrying herself, and I was like, wow, I want to be like this woman one day. Yes. So then the last week of the program, the last 2 weeks, we had to spend time in Washington, D.C. So this is where... Exactly, thank you. Wow. And this is where can
I just take a moment? Oh, wow.
Yes, this is where then we had to meet, Hillary Clinton herself, and some ambassadors, the advisor to the secretary back then was also part of the program. Obama was in office in those days, yes. And there were other people. Then we had dinner with all the people who serve in the government, yes, who were in the office on that day. It was quite amazing. It was lit. Yeah. Yes, the standards are very, very high. Like, you know, I was so proud. I mean, I look back now thinking about it, I still cannot believe that I did all of that, yes, because I never took that moment actually to just look back and reflect on everything. Right now that you're asking about it, I'm taking this moment to reflect, and I realized that it was a huge moment in my life, and God has been faithful.
Of course.
That's all I can say. It has been God all along, and when the Bible says the plans that He's got for us,
Plans to give us you a hope and a future.
that's
Wow.
exactly what He has done with my life. Yeah.
And as you are talking, I'm imagining you now as a little girl growing up in Zanin. You had no idea where you'd end up. But what you had in mind was discipline, perseverance, and courage. And I think it's also God ordained that Dee brought us to a restaurant called Gratitude as you are talking. Everything is just falling into place as you are talking. That a little girl from Zanin who went through her own challenges, but you did not see those challenges as a barrier. You had a vision and you went for your vision. Nothing deterred you to say, okay, no, I don't think it's possible. Oh no, you were just driven. No odds formed against you prospered.
Absolutely.
If I can put it that way.
Yes, yes. And there were lots of them.
Yeah. I can imagine. Now, are you the only child, or do you have siblings that you grew up with?
I'm the firstborn of 3 children.
So there were eyes looking up to you.
Yes. I have a younger sister, yes, who's 3 years younger than me. Then my brother is 10 years younger. Yes, when I thought that it was just going to be myself and my sister. And then there was this amazing young man, yes, who came, and we just loved him and we adore him. Yeah, he's a wonderful boy.
Wow.
Yes, so we 3. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
So now, going back to the Washington story, are you still in touch, or is there some sort of relationship that was built now going forward?
So I would call it's a network of women. So we all know the power of networking. Yes. So I didn't want to lose that. And to be honest, things like this, these are relationships. You have to be deliberate in maintaining them, because anything that you want to see it growing bigger and better, you need to nurture it. You need to feed it. So yes, I have kept in touch on LinkedIn. I'm still connected. So on emails as well. And actually, my mentor, the vice president of Sun Edison in business development, she was even my referee on my CV. Okay, I didn't go to any job interview, but,
of course, I don't think a person of your character
but I put her as one of my references, and we continue to talk. Karinia. So every time something big happened in my life, when I got a promotion at work, I would shout out like, hey, look, this is happening. And I think it's also a good thing to also acknowledge what she has, how she has impacted my life. Yes. So I always do that. Then I also had a cultural mentor, Nina. I keep in touch as well with her. She's Indian, but she's based in San Francisco. And there are other women from different countries who are also on the same program. We keep in touch. I also had a housemate. When I was there, she's from, I forgot the name of this country. It's quite a small country where they had the breakout of Ebola. Can't even remember. Yes, she was from there. Sierra Leone. Yeah, she's from Sierra Leone. Yes, Fatmata. So we keep in touch as well. I ask about the children, the husband, how everybody is doing. Then Anata as well. She's from Kenya. So we became very close. Yes, because we're women who had the same goals, targeting the same thing. We just finished our master's degree, so we'll always talk about, okay, what's next?
Yes,
what are we going to do next? Yes, so that's so such similarities has kept us together. But we had to be intentional in maintaining the relationships.
Yeah. Like you said, if you want something to prosper, you need to nurture it.
Absolutely.
So this network you have formed, you have been deliberate about keeping it alive and feeding it what you need to feed it to make sure that it continues going forward. I like that about you. So now let's also fast forward to your foundation. Your babies.
Yes, I love them so much. I think this is where I have this huge smile because I love them like my siblings. And I think this is what makes the difference. If you don't have passion and love for it, you're gonna get tired.
True.
Yes,
Yeah.
one day you'll
Yeah.
wake up and say,
Yeah.
I'm tired of doing this. I don't get paid for this, you know. But I mean, for me, the vision was very clear. I knew that I had struggled growing up to get people who are like women, someone I can just ask
stand with you
openly
and- yeah.
about, tell them about my challenges, tell them about my dreams, and ask them for advice. I never had that opportunity. So I came in, I started this organization with that intention to be that person.
Oh, wow.
That I never had, yes. So I didn't say like, since I didn't get the opportunity, I will not give back. It was like, no, I love doing things like this. I have passion for mentorship, so I want, yes, people. So every time I meet girls, some people, they would approach me. It's like you attract what you want sometimes.
True, yeah.
And go like, can you please mentor me? And I'm like, okay, you know.
How do you find the time though? Because it sounds like you're quite a busy lady.
Yeah, you create time
You
for the
make
things
time.
you love,
Yes,
yes, and the things you're passionate about, and that's exactly what I did. Yeah. So now we have a WhatsApp group. There are more than 20 of them. Yes.
They're all from back home.
No,
Oh,
they're
it's-
from different places.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
but usually they have like very challenging backgrounds, and their stories are different. Even how we met is a story for another day.
Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. But most of them, they have similar background
Yeah,
as myself. Yes, yes, yes. And they are mostly studying engineering. Yeah, and some of them we met when I was doing my master's in engineering at UJ. They used to ask me to go and speak because I also sit as an advisory board member at University UJ's
University of
yeah,
Joburg,
Department of Mechanical and Industrial Engineering. Yes, yes. So sometimes I'll be there, and some of the senior lecturers will ask me to speak to some of the girls, and after they want to chat to me, they want to continue the conversation, and I
yes.
enjoy it.
One-on-one.
Yes, and I
Yes.
enjoy it. So I offer myself, and the good thing is they're also understand the power of positioning,
Yes.
because when they ask me, they end up like even in their CVs, you know, now they have a reference in me, and I'm
powerful
happy.
reference
I'm happy to give reference. So yeah, that's how the baby got to grow, because now it has grown. I started back in actually actively in 2016,
Yes.
but already before then I was mentoring other people. Yeah.
Wow. So now you obviously, in your own opinion now, learning from your story, it's very important to have a life coach / mentor as a person,
Yes.
because that's where you get your drive from, and not necessarily where you get your drive from, but how you keep going. I know I never had any life coach or a mentor, but I've always prayed. I think I pray too much and I seek less. And I think God is going to do it for me. You know, I need to pray and be deliberate.
Yeah.
So I think it's important now for even those that are listening to be deliberate about forming those strong networks and pursuing your dream, if I can put it that way. So my second last question to you is what message of encouragement would you give to a little Dolly who's still back home, who might not have the same drive as you, but want to also end up where you are?
Okay.
But I suppose attitude is very important.
True, I agree.
Your attitude must be positive, and you must know what you want. But other than that, what advice would you give that little Dolly back from? Well, not necessarily back home, anywhere.
Yeah. I think the other thing is being able to take constructive feedback and change and use it for your advantage.
Okay.
Yes, because there'll be a lot of feedback, especially when you start to create networks and everything. So if you are young, let me step back a little bit.
Okay.
You are a young Dolly. The first thing, if you are a child, behave and act like a child. Because if you start mixing these things and start behaving like an adult, doing adult stuff, you're confusing yourself. Yes, lots of distractions as well. So behave and act like a child when you are a child. Be disciplined and don't compare yourself with other people.
Very important.
Yes, you are you. You're gonna see your neighbors, they have this and this. and you're busy regretting why you're being raised in a family like yours or your background. It's none of your business. Be concerned about tomorrow. Yes, already you're here. You cannot do anything about like your current, but you can change tomorrow. Yes, so be concerned about where you're going and be focused. Keep the right friends as well, because
yet again you mentioned it, very important, yeah.
Because the friends we keep, to be honest, they determine a lot in our lives.
Who we are.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, so keep the right friends. Discipline, do not compare yourself, be you, because you never know. Your uniqueness may be what's gonna take you to your next level. Yeah.
Wow, powerful, very profound. And last but not least, tell me what defines you as Dolly now, who is a trailblazer, a philanthropist / this / that. What defines Dolly?
Oh, wow, it's quite simple things. Yes, things like I always say there are 5 key ways that defines me. Accountability. We need to be accountable people, no matter your age, your level, whatever you do, be accountable. And discipline, excellence. There's power in excellence. If you are the person who's always concerned about ticking the box, you never really get the best out of what you do. You'll always get results that are the minimum, average. Yeah, so ask yourself, do you want to be average? If you really want to be outstanding, you need to be excellent yourself. Yes, be on time, be loyal, you know, those kind of stuff, yes. And compassion. I think someone whom I will not see my neighbor not having something, a bread, I'm having a bread and I'm like, I'm gonna finish the loaf. No. Compassion, yes, share what you have, and sharing does not mean financial. You know, you can also share yourself, share your time, share some love, and that 5 minutes that you share with someone, you never know what it makes to their life. Yes, so those kind of stuff, and be humble. There's no reason, there's no need actually to make other people feel small. Or to make them feel like, you know what, I have arrived. There's really no need. So be humble and remain humble. Then you will see even bigger things just coming your way. Yes, without you even having to do a lot of things. Yeah.
My goodness, your story is now in closing. I'm reminded of, is it Joseph with the jacket of many colors in the Bible? How he started off as a young little boy with siblings. He kept telling his siblings that, you guys, I'm going to lead you. I'm going to be your leader. And his brothers hated that about him. And his background also was not so great, but he kept to the goal. You know, he was driven, young as he was. And I think God uses people that are driven, available, and focused.
Yeah.
You are exactly that. Driven, available, and focused. And you don't say, now that I am here, I don't have time for this. You are still available. You still avail yourself for the things that other people will think, oh, I don't have time for small little things. You actually go back because you know in those small little corners, there are also human lives that are important. So your story is just beautiful because it shows how God can change a caterpillar into a beautiful butterfly. I'm not saying you were a caterpillar, but
I don't mind. It's about today. Yeah.
So in closing, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for making time for me. I am more than inspired. I think I might be a little bit older than you, but you inspire me to levels that you can't even imagine. Even to me now, saying the dreams that I still have, I must not think they are small, you know. So I am truly humbled that you took your time, your busy time, and made time for a stranger that you don't even know, and said, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna see you, and you were so excited. It's as if you were meeting somebody that you already know, you know. So I am actually quite humbled by your giving heart, you know, because I value your time and I don't take it for granted. So thank you, and may God continue to use you to make waves out there. We need black women who are like you. We need young girls to see that it is possible for them too. You know. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bulela. It was
you.
really
I
a pleasure
need to give you
having
a hug.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So you can only learn if you are hungry for knowledge. You can only learn from those that have walked the road, and take the positives, look at your life as well, and be determined about your dreams, be determined about your goals, and don't let little obstacles stop you. We are a generation that gives up easily, and our kids these days, they want quick things, microwave things. You put it in for 5 minutes, it must already come out and produce great results. But perseverance, discipline, like Dolly has said, and humility will take you to great places, will take you to Washington. So by just rubbing shoulders with you, I want to be in Washington. Hey? So that's it for us, from us right now, and thank you for tuning in. We shall chat again in the next video. God bless you, and God bless you too, Dolly.
Thank you.
Thank you.